point, it's clear that every effort is being made from family and law enforcement to get Nancy home. But there were 4 things that stuck out to the former agent who spoke to me after he watched Savannah's message.
For me, I would have to say there's 2 things. One, from the video, the way he manipulates those flowers is so strange to me. I can't stop thinking about it. And then the other is obviously right there, the blood spatter. There are 4 separate, to me, patterns there. So there's the drops, the 90-degree angle drops that you see that look like it might be from a nosebleed. Then there's the medium to high velocity spatter that some people have said they think that it's drops within a drop, but I don't. I think it's where she coughed. And then down from that a little bit, there's a transfer print. It looks to me, Jackson, like there was blood on somebody's hand right here and maybe on their palm where they just touched down. It almost looks like a Rorschach test, the thing where it looks like a butterfly or different animals to somebody. And then down a little bit further, there's a clear swipe where it was a clean surface and something that was bloody went right past it. So those 4 distinct different patterns tells me there was movement. And the thing that I find the most curious is that a lot of people believe and have been very outspoken that there's more than one person involved. Where are the footprints? Somebody would have been in front of her, leading her out, and there would have been a second person. There are no, footprints in that blood at all. There's no drag marks. There's no scuff marks. There's nothing that shows there was any type of fight. So the blood is very interesting. The flowers are very interesting. And I have been very outspoken. Obviously, as a crime scene investigator, they released it way too early.
Welcome back. If you've been following our investigation into the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, you know that the trail went cold at the edge of the Arizona desert. We've analyzed the 2:28 a.m. pacemaker failure and the $6 million Bitcoin demand. But while the world was looking at the night she vanished, Sheriff Chris Nanos was looking at what happened 20 days earlier. The abduction wasn't a random act of violence. It was a calculated operation. Forensic digital analysis of the neighborhood's Nest and Ring camera backends revealed a chilling anomaly. A masked individual matching the exact height and build of the February 1st kidnapper was seen scouting the property 20 days before the crime. The investigation has shifted. Sheriff Nanos is no longer just looking for a kidnapper. He is looking for a stalker. Someone who understood the 2:15 a.m. pacemaker synchronization. Someone who knew the specific vulnerabilities of a home in the Catalina foothills. This account reconstructs the technical timeline of the Nancy Guthrie investigation using verified reports from the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI. No composite characters are used. All events reflect documented law enforcement activity. We are asking every resident in the foothills, specifically the area surrounding Ventana Canyon, to go back to your security footage from the night of January 11th. We have reason to believe the individual involved in Nancy Guthrie's abduction didn't just show up on February 1st. They were there weeks prior. Sheriff, are you confirming a dry run took place? What I'm saying is that we've seen patterns. We've seen a masked individual in the vicinity of the residence on that specific date. If you saw a silver SUV or a person carrying a heavy black backpack 3 weeks before the disappearance, we need that footage. We need it now. This is the deep truth the FBI just declassified.
This isn't the night of the abduction. This is January 11th.
The same mask, the same Ozark Trail backpack, the same professional precision. If you're joining us for the first time, we are reconstructing a military-grade kidnapping. If you've been here since the beginning, brace yourself, because the significance of January 11th proves this wasn't a crime of opportunity. It was a crime of obsession. Dry Run on January 11th wasn't just a visit. It was the moment Nancy Guthrie's fate was sealed. But why was this specific date so important? The FBI discovered that on January 11th, a minor glitch in the local cellular tower occurred, a glitch that investigators now suspect was a test of a signal jammer. For weeks, the public believed the predator struck on a whim, but forensic digital analysis of the neighborhood's camera backends revealed a chilling anomaly. A masked individual, matching the exact height and build of the kidnapper, was seen scouting the property nearly 3 weeks before the crime. Before we break down the specific physical evidence found at the desert's edge, I have to ask, do you trust your home security system to stop a professional? Or do you think technology just gives us a false sense of safety? Let us know in the comments. And if you're following this case for justice, hit that subscribe button. We are staying on the trail. The investigation has shifted. Sheriff Nanos is no longer just looking for a kidnapper. He is looking for a stalker. Someone who understood the 2:15 a.m. pacemaker synchronization. Someone who knew exactly how the porch lights reacted. This was a dry run to ensure that when the real night came, there would be no mistakes. The January 11th lead is backed by hard evidence. The FBI released footage showing an armed individual wearing a mask and carrying a backpack on Nancy's property, official reports state. This backpack is now a central fingerprint in the case. It's a 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack.
The security camera at a nearby trailhead recorded a silver SUV slowing down at 11:45 p.m. on that same night, investigators confirmed. This suggests the kidnapper had an accomplice. One person to scout, one person to drive, and a 20-day window to perfect the escape route. The January 11th Phantom wasn't just visiting. They were rehearsing an execution of a plan. But why this date? The FBI discovered that on January 11th, a minor glitch in the local cellular tower occurred. A glitch investigators now suspect was a test of a signal jammer. As we proceed, we uncover the Rio Rico connection. We'll look at the court-authorized search that led FBI agents to a remote desert property and why a man was detained for 12 hours before being released into the night. Do you think the use of a signal jammer suggests a professional mercenary group is involved, or a highly tech-savvy local? Type mercenary or tech local in the comments. By February 11th, exactly 10 days after Nancy Guthrie vanished, the digital pings led the FBI and Pima County SWAT teams south. They bypassed the luxury resorts of the foothills and headed straight for the rugged border town of Rio Rico, Arizona. Authorities conducted a court-authorized search of a residential property, official reports confirmed. This wasn't a random door knock. Federal agents had tracked a specific signal, a digital ghost that had been active in the foothills on the night of the abduction and was now stationary in this desert outpost. Multiple angles recorded the tactical units in full gear as they breached the perimeter, the narrator continues. Neighbors reported seeing a silver SUV, similar to the one caught on the dry run footage, parked behind a weathered fence. For 4 hours, the town was turned into a federal fortress. Inside the Rio Rico residence, a man was detained. He wasn't a career criminal with a long rap sheet. He was a local man whose life suddenly intersected with a national tragedy. The security camera on a neighboring house captured the moment he was let out in handcuffs, the narrator notes. For 12 hours, he sat in a windowless room with FBI interrogators. They showed him the footage of the masked intruder. They showed him the Ozark Trail backpack. They asked him one question over and over. Where is Nancy? And now that intensity is costing the investigation a clear answer, the narrator states. Because despite the tactical surge, the deep truth emerged by dawn. There was no Nancy. No physical evidence of her presence was found in the home. The man was released without charges. The silver SUV? It was a different year and model. The ghost signal turned out to be a spoofed MAC address, a professional diversion designed to lead the FBI into a dead end. While Sheriff Chris Nanos managed the fallout of the Rio Rico raid, the Guthrie family faced a new psychological attack. As the $1 million reward made headlines, the vultures began to circle. Federal authorities arrested a 20-year-old California man, Eduardo Rodriguez, for wire fraud, the narrator explains. He didn't have Nancy, but he had a plan. He posed as the abductor, demanding $500,000 via a series of chilling text messages sent to the family's legal representatives. Body camera captured the moment investigators realized the proof of life he provided was a doctored photo from an old news segment, the narrator notes. The deep truth here is the cruelty of the copycat. Every hour spent chasing Rodriguez was an hour the real kidnapper used to put more miles between themselves and the Arizona border. The Rio Rico lead was a decoy. The California ransom was a hoax. But in the middle of this chaos, a tech specialist at the Pima County Sheriff's Department found something everyone else missed. Hidden in the back end of the Guthrie's router logs was a handshake with an unknown device that occurred at 1:47 a.m., the narrator warned. This device didn't come from California or Rio Rico. It came from inside the neighborhood. Do you think a professional kidnapper would leave a digital signature on purpose to taunt the police? Or was this a genuine mistake? Type taunt or mistake in the comments. Stick with us as we reveal the verified forensic data from the night of the crime. And it's about to change the direction of this case forever. While the FBI's evidence response team was chasing the January 11th phantom, they were also looking at a witness that doesn't have eyes: Nancy's own body. Nancy wore a Medtronic bedside pacemaker monitor. Every night, it pings a local server to upload her cardiac data. At 2:28 a.m. on February 1st, the monitor recorded a missed transmission error, official medical forensics confirm. The security camera in the bedroom couldn't see the struggle, but the pacemaker could. The device didn't fail because of a technical glitch. It failed because Nancy was moved out of the 15-foot range of the bedside base station. This is the deep truth. The 2:28 a.m. timestamp isn't just a log. It is the exact moment Nancy Guthrie was taken from her bed. But how did they get in without a single alert? Sheriff Chris Nanos and the FBI Cyber Division discovered a terrifying technical reality. The perpetrator didn't just snip the wires of the doorbell camera at 1:47 a.m. They used a de-authentication attack to kick the camera off the Wi-Fi before they ever stepped onto the porch. Frame by frame, you can see the connection lost status on the Guthrie's router logs, the narrator notes. This wasn't a crime of opportunity. This was a signal execution. It required proximity, specialized hardware, and the knowledge that an 84-year-old would be unable to restart the system. This level of technical sophistication points away from a local thief and toward a professional operation that had been testing her network since that first sighting on January 11th. While the tech teams analyzed the digital ghost, the first physical evidence of a motive arrived. A letter was received by KOLD-TV in Tucson. It wasn't a hoax. It contained specific private details about the interior of Nancy's home, details that had never been released to the press. The FBI processed the letter for touch DNA and chemical signatures, the narrator reveals. The demand? Millions of dollars in Bitcoin. The kidnappers weren't looking for a blue folder or a secret from the past. They were looking for a payday from one of the most visible families in American media. The 2:28 a.m. pacemaker window is the last time anyone knows where Nancy Guthrie was. The dry run on January 11th was the rehearsal. The February 1st abduction was the execution. The career of Sheriff Chris Nanos is now defined by a 41-minute window of missing footage.
the narrator warns. If they can't find where that signal jammer was purchased, the trail ends at the driveway. The blood is Nancy's. The Rio Rico lead was a ghost. The $1 million reward is still unclaimed. We are over 50 days into the disappearance, and the only person who knows where Nancy Guthrie is the person in the mask. The career of Sheriff Chris Nanos and the reputation of the FBI are now tethered to this one case, the narrator warns. If the trail ends at the driveway, it will be the most high-profile, unsolved kidnapping in Arizona history. With a $1 million reward on the table, do you believe the silence of the kidnappers means they've already left the country? Or are they hiding in plain sight? Type left or hiding in the comments. As of late March 2026, the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie has reached a haunting plateau. The luxury streets of the Catalina foothills are quiet again. But the deep truth is that the neighborhood has been changed forever. The security camera at Nancy's home has been upgraded, and the Pima County Sheriff's Department has increased patrols, the narrator concludes. But every night, at 1:47 a.m., the exact moment the digital blackout began, investigators review the fresh feeds, looking for a shadow that never returns. The $1 million reward offered by the Guthrie family remains untouched in an escrow account. The $6 million Bitcoin demand? The wallet address hasn't seen a single transaction. It's as if the kidnappers vanished into the same digital void they used to silence Nancy's home. The significance of January 11th remains the most chilling piece of the puzzle. It proved that in the age of smart homes and constant surveillance, we are only as safe as our digital weakest link. Sheriff Chris Nanos and his team are still processing the dry-run footage frame by frame, the narrator explains. They are looking for one mistake, a slipped mask, a reflection in a window, a unique gate. And now that patience is the family's only hope, the narrator states. Because the kidnapper practiced, they left a pattern. And in the world of federal investigations, a pattern is eventually a conviction. Savannah Guthrie remains away from the Today Show, her absence a daily reminder of the 84-year-old mother still missing in the Arizona desert. The case of the January 11th phantom isn't just a news story. It's a warning. Sheriff Nanos, final press statement. To the person in that footage, you think you were perfect. You think the 2:28 a.m. window gave you the win. But we have your DNA. We have your pattern. And we have the entire resources of the federal government behind us. We aren't going away. Nancy Guthrie is still out there. And until she is found, the digital ghost of January 11th will continue to haunt the foothills. This reconstruction was based on official timelines from the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI. If you have any information regarding a black Ozark Trail hiker pack or a silver SUV seen in Tucson on January 11th or February 1st, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI. Do you think the move to digital security has made us easier to track for the wrong people? Comment your thoughts below. Justice for Nancy Guthrie. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for any breaking developments in this case. We will be here when the truth finally comes out.